what I struggle with is Kevin De Bruyne is in great form. You've seen it. You've had all that video analysis of City going into the game and what they've done recently, and there is clearly a lot of games where De Bruyne has played almost as a second forward next to Haaland, exactly like they did on Wednesday night. And you know that he's going to try to find all that space in between the lines and everything. And I just don't understand how there's not even like almost a man marking on De Bruyne in the game on Wednesday night. And in the end, they gave him far too much time on the ball, space and freedom to just literally, De Bruyne dictated the game. And his first goal is amazing. And if you look at the replay on the first goal, which I find incredible, he never even looks up. So he gets the ball from Haaland at the halfway line. He knows exactly where Gabriel is. He knows he's going to go onto the outside of his right foot to do that little turn kind of thing. And then he shoots without even looking at Ramsdale or the goal. Just the awareness of the guy is incredible.
Not just that, the ball also bends as well. It looks like, I don't know,
mental
just the way he hits
maybe
it.
Ramsdale can do a little bit better, I don't know. But it's just incredible. But don't give De Bruyne so much space on the ball.
We're speaking Monday morning quarterbacks, right? We're speaking hypotheticals. If you say give De Bruyne less space on the ball, you either man mark him or you put another midfielder on there. Because if you ask one of the center backs to just go tighter on him, then you leave the other one-on-one with Haaland, and you'll just get beaten that way, right?
I just think they expect Stones to be in midfield and Gundogan to play higher up with De Bruyne.
Okay, but once you see, that's a great point. Once you see that's not happening, that is when you, as a manager, need to make an adjustment.
Exactly. I think they never adapted to it. And you thought, okay, maybe at half time, 15 seconds in the second half, there's that first chance, and the ball for De Bruyne, who is a hard volley to hit, but it's still that's 15 seconds in the second half.
I wonder if in this game, and maybe it's too defensive, maybe you would have even considered dropping one of your strikers for an extra midfielder. If that's what you were going to do, if you're so concerned about, being able to play about City's press, would that have been? I know there's no El Neni who I think would have been ideally suited to this, because if you talk about man marking Kevin De Bruyne coming from deep, you do it with El Neni and Partey. You don't want to have Xhaka chasing him around. Or you put in Georgie and you send Partey to do it, but then you lose something else. But
you need the width, though. You need Martinelli and Saka. That's how Bayern caused them so much trouble. Is with Coman and Sané, by playing on the wings very quickly. And I think the idea was to do that. And you saw that now and again in the first half. Play on the
counter and you have Odegaard trailing through the middle. I mean, you try something different. Instead, I feel like we got served up. I feel like what happened was, they in the first half, Haaland had all those chances. They weren't going in. And it comes to the end of the half, and Arteta's like 1-0 down. He's like, okay, tight game. This is the speech I'm going to deliver at halftime. This is how I'm going to change it around. And then you get that Stones goal.
That you should not concede. I'm sorry, the defensive line has to be better. White, there's no reason for White to drop a bit deeper than the others.
You know what's funny about that goal? Like, it was a classic situation where, honestly, like, you can't tell if he's onside or offside because it's so tight. You really, really can't tell. And I'm so used to the semi-automatic offside. And I watched this game on BT Sport, and obviously they don't have semi-automatic offside here, right? So they kind of just show the replay over and over again. They draw what looks like one line, because remember they're like, oh, we don't want to get too specific with the lines. And I'm like, what the hell does this mean? This means nothing.
And you don't even see when I was on French radio with Manu Petit commentating on the game, and he was like, we don't even know if the ball has left De Bruyne's foot or not on that image. You don't see where the ball is. So for all you suspect that they stopped and put the line in the photo just as the ball was about to leave De Bruyne's foot. But still, you could not see it on the screen. So for all we know, it was just
so dumb. This is so stupid. This reminds me of the early days of VAR in this country when they had like the really sick line, or they had the line that wasn't straight. Like what?
But we go again. This is why City are so good, because they don't make those mistakes just before the break, just after the break. Where you should all be on the same line defensively on set piece, and one of you is slightly behind. Certainly when it matters, they don't. And De Bruyne said it after the game. He said, this is the mindset that we have when we go into those games at the end of the season. We know how much is at stake, and they just don't crumble. They don't make mistakes. they're just so good at that kind of stuff. Which Arsenal is a young team, and Arteta is a young manager. Arteta is 41, Pep is 52. You know, this is Mikel Arteta's first job.
Nagelsmann's 34. So what?
But that's what I mean.
Nagelsmann would have made a bunch of adjustments in this game.
It
might have been worse.
Too. This is a learning process. Pep has gone the learning process already. Pep created the learning process.
I'd push back about that. I don't care how old Arteta is.
No, I disagree with you.
No.
This is all new to me.
Sorry. What I mean by I don't care, I'm not using it as an excuse. What I'm saying is, Arteta, at this stage of his career, it's not like he's not making adjustments because he's too inexperienced, he hasn't thought of them. The guy is a football nerd. He worked with Pep. He's an intelligent guy. He knows the options. He knows the pros and cons. He chose not to make those adjustments because he thought that this was the best possible. This gave him. So let's stop with this young. This is not an experience thing. It's not like because it's not like Roy Hodgson would have said, "Oh, look, I'm old. I can make all."
I could not disagree more with you.
In this case, in the adjustments he made in the game, he made them because he thought they were the best. They gave Arsenal the best possible chance to go and get a result.
But you do that at 20, 40, 60 or 80 years old. It's not about, of course, every manager
exactly.
makes
decisions. Got nothing to do with age. It's got nothing to do with age.
It does with experience. Maybe next time, with that kind of experience, you say, like, you know what? This is not the right thing to do here. The right thing to do might have been to go to a back five, like you said. But let's not forget, Arsenal have started the 12 defeat in a row in the league against City. Arteta, since he's been in as an Arsenal manager, has never beaten Pep and City. Never, ever. Not even came close last season at the Emirates. But this is new to him. And even more in a game that is a title decider.
I think we view this differently. I don't think experience comes into game management in this case. I think he has enough experience to know he just simply made. I don't even necessarily say he made the wrong calls because it might have been even worse if he'd made those calls. He sees all the option. Experience wouldn't have given him more options in this game.
I disagree.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.